Hey YouTube, how is it going today? Well, in this video, I'm going to go over Zomedica again. They've just recently came out with some news, plus the stock has been absolutely exploding, so I want to go over their recent price action and give you my thoughts. And then, as always, near the end of the video, I have some other nice-looking charts that look like they are potentially ready to break out. So make sure you stick around for those charts as well. Now, if you're new to my channel, I like to invest and trade in typically lower price stocks and talk about all other things finance related as well. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. But please remember, I am not a financial advisor, so please do all of your own research before investing in any of these stocks. All right, well, first off, I am going to get into the news. And if you're not familiar with Zomedica, Zomedica is an animal health company that is in the process of developing pet diagnostics for point-of-care applications in dogs and cats. And this article starts off by saying, as anyone who has taken a pet to the veterinarian for tests, labs have to be sent to an outside lab. This creates a delay in diagnosing and beginning treatment for conditions. It's a source of inefficiency and stress for the pet, its owner, and the veterinarian. And the market for these services is large and expected to grow. Zomedica cites the diagnostic segment of the global companion animal market is expected to reach $2.8 billion by 2024, and to put that into context, that's a nearly 10% compounded annual growth rate. Now, the article also goes on to say that the one thing missing from Zomedica's resume is a product that's on the market, but that is coming. In November of 2020, Zomedica announced it expects to begin commercialization of its pet diagnostic platform, Truforma, with a release in late March. They also say Zomedica has a compelling and emerging business case that will start to deliver revenue to the company in the second quarter of this year. And once Truforma is ready, Zomedica is taking steps to make sure it can get the product into the hands of veterinarians as soon as possible. The company has signed a distribution agreement with Miller Veterinary Supply. Plus, the company announced it has raised $40 million as investors have exercised their warrants to buy Zomedica's stock. And as Mark Hake writes, this is giving the company over $90 million net of all capital and operating expenditures from the fourth quarter. The article also says that Zomedica anticipates having enough cash to fund operations through at least 2023. And at that time, the company expects to be cash flow positive. So the upside for this company, of course, is huge, and it's going to be exciting to see how well Truforma does. All right, well, let's get into the charts. This is my TC2000 trading platform. This is the daily chart of Zomedica Pharmaceuticals, ticker symbol ZOM. And as we can see, Zomedica is absolutely exploding today, up another 28% at the moment. This is intraday, so this thing could fluctuate around a little bit. And I actually meant to do this video a few days ago, but there's been so many charts exploding that I didn't get around to it. And this was the day that I wanted to get to the video because it was when this had this red doji type day, because it had that move up over the 8-period exponential moving average after that pullback, and then it held that second day. So this is typically when I like to buy in after a pullback, because once it holds that 8-period exponential moving average, there's just a pretty good chance that it's going to slingshot higher, and especially the way stocks have been moving lately. Zoom was no exception. Just an absolutely fantastic buy point right around $1.10. So you'd be almost at a double just a couple days later. But tons of volume still coming into the stock. You know, this breakout has been on higher than average volume. So it's a very healthy looking breakout. And if we go to the intraday chart, let's break it down and just take a look as this trend was, or as this uptrend was starting to resume what it looked like intraday. You had the first move up, it started to pull back, and this is when I start keeping an eye on the stock, is when it starts to move sideways after that pullback, and I look for the break back above those moving averages, and especially the white line, which is the 8-period exponential moving average. Once it starts to hold that, then I go back to the daily chart and look how it is holding the 8-period exponential moving average on the daily time frame, and if it holds it, then that's when I like to enter, because the stock could be off to the races, and that's exactly what's going on with Zomedica. So I kind of do want to apologize because this was on my radar, but there were so many fantastic stocks that were looking like they were breaking out. I kind of forgot to put Zomedica on one of those videos. But if any of you guys are long this stock, I mean, this thing is just a taking off. It's an absolute rocket ship, and it doesn't look like there's any sign of slowing down just yet. I mean, if we zoom in a little bit, we can see intraday on the 15-minute chart came down and touched that 8-period exponential moving average, and right now at the moment it is threatening to break out to a new high for the day. So just an absolutely fantastic chart, but I just wanted to give that news update and the chart update on Zomedica. Now let's get into some of the other charts that we have been watching. All right, well, first off, I am going to do an update on our current positions. In case any of you guys have bought these alongside of us, we've been talking about these on the YouTube videos and in the Patreon account. And I just want to give you an update on the current price action. I know there's been so many bullish moves that it's been pretty difficult to keep an eye on all of them. I'm getting analysis paralysis myself just because there's so much price action going on. But then after these, I want to show you some other charts that I think could be breaking out real soon. So make sure you stick around for those because those are should be some decent trading opportunities. But the first one I want to show you that we're in is SENS Holdings, ticker symbol SENS. We were buying this when it was pulling back to the 8-period exponential moving average, and now it looks like it is starting to take off. It's at about 314 at the moment, up 17% on the day. So I think most of the guys in the Patreon are up pretty decently on this one. Let's go intraday real quick, just to show you the move up that we're having. You know, kind of had that nice sideways move, and then it's starting to break higher right now on the 15-minute chart. And as we can see, we had a quick opportunity to buy it on the pullback to the 8-period exponential moving average on the 15-minute chart, but it quickly found support there, and now it looks like it is poised to move higher. I'm going to try to move through these charts kind of quickly, guys, because I have a ton to show you, and I don't want this video to drag on forever. Another one that we are in is Barnes & Noble. Made that very nice bullish triangle formation, then had that breakout. This thing is breaking out to new highs today. It's pulling back just a little bit, but it's been super strong. You can see all of the volume pouring in on this one. Not only did we like this pattern here, but another thing that they were talking about with Barnes & Noble was the potential short squeeze that was going on with all of the Reddit groups. So that was another reason why we wanted to buy into this one. The short squeeze really hasn't happened yet. I mean, it could happen. Hopefully it does. That would be great. But we're in on this one in the low sixes when it was pulling back to that 8-period. Actually, I added some right around $6, but we actually bought before the breakout. So Barnes & Noble Education is doing super well at the moment. The next one that we are in is TTOO. I actually bought this one at $2.14, and I sold half of the position today when it gapped over my first target of 307. I got out at about, I think it was 336, right in the first few minutes of trading. It's pulling back on the day. Hopefully it can keep this support area intact and then start to move forward again because I'm still holding on to half of that position. But we bought this one down around 214, so nice move in TTOO. The next one I want to go over is RWLK. We talked about this one in a video. I don't think anybody bought this in the Patreon. I'm not sure, but talked about this one several videos ago, and having a nice explosion after finding support and then getting back above that 8-period exponential moving average. So WeWalk Robotics has just been a big winner. Not for me personally because I didn't buy this one, and I don't know if anybody in the Patreon bought it or not, but if anybody watching the video, I know I did have a couple of comments of people that were saying they did buy this during the when I put out the information on that video, so they were happy with this purchase. Another one I want to go over is TRVN. TRVN was breaking out of resistance yesterday, had a pullback down to about $2.50 and is now turned back around and is at the highs of the day. So TRVN, Trevena Incorporated, Just an absolutely beautiful pattern. Nice rounding bottom, busting through that resistance, and it looks poised to be heading higher. One that we did buy yesterday was SLRX. We actually bought this one when it was starting to break out at, or before the breakout at $1.31. We had the breakout into the end of the day, and today it actually pulled back and tested support and is holding in. Is that exactly what you want to see? I wouldn't mind one bit if this thing just meandered sideways a little bit and waited for this 8-period exponential moving average to catch up, and I would like to add a little bit more because I think if it can hold these levels and wait for that average to catch up, that could be what it needs to give it another slingshot move higher. And I'd be willing to double down on this one because SLRX is looking super bullish at the moment. I mean, look at all the volume that has been pouring in the last couple of months. So this one just looks poised to rock and roll. Let's get into some other trading opportunities that I think are happening right now. All right, the first one I want to talk about is CSCW. This is one we actually bought today in the Patreon. It looks like it's just starting to take off, so this one hopefully is going to be getting a breakout soon, and then we'll be off to the races. You can see all the volume that is coming into this stock at the moment. If we zoom in a little bit, I got mine at 91 cents just before it pulled back to this 8-period exponential moving average. Had a nice breakout, well, potential breakout yesterday. It got right to the resistance highs, but this thing looks poised to break out any day now. So I wanted to buy if it did pull back, which it did, and it is holding that 8-period exponential moving average. And that's exactly what you want to see if a stock is getting ready to go higher. So CSCW looks like it is poised to break above this resistance area because it is making that very nice triangle consolidation, putting pressure on that resistance area. So the pressure is building, nice rounded bottom, volume coming in. This is exactly what I like to see before I buy a stock. And that's what I want to show you guys in these videos. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe because I like to show these charts before they take off. You know, there's no guarantee these stocks are going to take off, but unlike that Zomedica chart, you know, once the stock already takes off, you know, your risk is a little bit higher because you never know once a stock has moved up a lot when it's going to pull back. When you're buying right around this area, you know, your downside is limited because once this thing starts to break out of this formation to the downside, which it very well could, you know, there's no guarantee these things can take off, but your risk is down here. Like my risk is going to be below 80 cents, and my potential upside, you know, could be up into the upper $1 area or all the way up even to $2 or more. You never know how high these things can go. But CSCW looks poised to break out, and that's the first one that we entered into. The next one I want to talk about is Vail. Vail is one that the guys in the Patreon are talking about. I know this is a little bit of a higher price stock. I don't talk about many higher price stocks on this channel, but hey, a trading opportunity is a trading opportunity. You can see that tons of buying have been coming into Vail. Now we are getting that pullback, and it's pulling back to the 50-period simple moving average, which is a strong area of support. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see it has been wrestling with that support line. You don't see this very often where the support line is rising and it just, you know, it breaks it, gets back above it, breaks it, gets back above it, breaks it. Now it is back above it again. And it looks like it is probably ready to start resuming that uptrend after this pullback to this support level. And if we break this intraday, we can see that it is starting to look like a very nice rounded bottom, and that's exactly what we like to see. You could probably draw a descending wedge on this as well, which is, of course, is a very bullish formation. But right here, we had also the false break, which I love to see when I'm buying a stock for a turnaround. If you get a break to a new low on an intraday chart and then it immediately gets right back above it and starts to move higher, that usually is a pretty good reversal signal. But we can see that these lows are starting to rise on the intraday chart. and it is starting to bust above this recent resistance level. So if it can hold $17 and start to move higher, I think it is going to finally be done with, let me get this stuff out of here real quick. I think it's finally going to be done with this wrestling match that it's having with the 50-period simple moving average, and it will be ready to start a new uptrend and hopefully take out this previous high, because that's really not all that far away. So I think Vail presents a pretty good swing trade opportunity if it can hold above this 50-period simple moving average. If it did break below this low right around 16 bucks, then I would be very worried if I was in the stock, because then it looks like it's breaking all these moving averages and it could be rolling over. So but at the moment, Vail looks like it is poised to start the next leg of the move up. But let's get into the next one, which is XTNT. XTNT, I've featured this on a couple of videos before, but it's starting to make that nice rounding bottom. Had the breakout, but it is pulling back today. So these are the days that I like to buy, when it pulls back to support and that 8-period exponential moving average, and it holds. And if it can stay above this moving average today, and especially if it closes back near the upper range of yesterday's, then that's a very bullish signal. That would be the time when I like to buy into these stocks. So provided everything stays bullish for today on XTNT, I would consider this a buying opportunity. Let's get into AIRI. AIRI is looks like it's starting to break out now. We have the nice rounding bottom starting to go up. Got all this volume that's been coming in lately. It is holding this 8-period exponential moving average and is starting to move higher. This is a little bit of a more thinly traded stock, so of course that is a double-edged sword. It could move in your direction really fast, or it could move against you really fast. So make sure you're aware of these stocks that trade under 500,000 shares for the day, because those lower float type stocks can really get moving in both directions. But AIRI, as far as I'm concerned, it's not too extended, and this is in my wheelhouse for where I like to buy stocks. So AIRI, in my opinion, is currently a buying opportunity. The next one I want to talk about is pets. We look at pets, and pets is a decent looking chart at the moment. This is one I'm not as excited about. I would like to see it go sideways a little bit longer after a big move up like this. But momentum is building nonetheless. The moving averages are starting to move up. Found support at the 50 period. It jumped to this resistance area, and it is finding some resistance again and pulling back, but is holding near the highs of the day. And of course, another reason why I not super excited about pets is because of the volume. There's only 30,000 shares traded at the moment. Typically, it is just under 200,000 shares is the average daily volume. So today is super light, which, I mean, technically is kind of good for a pullback. But pets is probably the one I am the least excited about. It's just a little bit too thinly traded. I would like to see it go sideways longer. I wouldn't eliminate it, but I'm definitely going to keep this one on my watch list. And if it starts to move, I might jump into this one. But let's move on to the next one. Next one is AXLA. That's what I meant to say. Let me zoom out a little bit. We can see that it is putting pressure on this resistance area. The lows are rising, and it looks like it is about ready to bust out. It looks like it started to bust out earlier this morning, and it pulled back just a little bit, but it was pretty much holding just above that 8-period exponential moving average, and it started to raise all the way back up near the high of the day. So this is one that is building a lot of momentum. If it can get above this resistance area and hold it, that's when I like to be a buyer of these stocks. If it's making a nice bullish formation and then it gets above the 8-period exponential moving average just below resistance, I don't mind buying there either, because sometimes when these things break out, they break out really fast. So I like to anticipate that sometimes as well. But if this one can get above that resistance area and hold it, this one looks ready to start the next leg up and probably the trend acceleration phase. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for this one. But if you have any questions or comments on any of these stocks, please don't hesitate to leave them down there in the comment section, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss any future trading opportunities. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, and until next time, take care, everybody.